Greetings, fellow Toastmasters.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Regardless of the outcome of the presidential election, I just want to talk about this great event we had on January 6th because it just seems like it's been somewhat overshadowed. It was December where I saw this text where the president asked people to come to D.C. on the 6th. And I felt that I just needed to go. And I've actually got involved with new friends in Lawton, Columbus, about 3 different people, and we traveled there, a group of 30 of us, on 2 buses, 15-passenger buses, and had a great time going there. And what was this rally about? Who sponsored it? There's an organization called Women for America First, and this is based on their mission statement, where basically it's an organization to empower women to be successful. And it's basically a movement. They want women to have better tools for a safe place to speak out even when the haters come after us. There's a lot of women that feel that their voices aren't being heard. And this is the organization that sponsored the event. Does this actually work?
We will find out.
Pause.
Another thing with Toastmasters, we're flexible. It gives it work.
Oh, look at this.
All right.
Oh, it's even intuitive. This one's, I think it's pretty cool, remote control. So that was the sponsor. Now, they also had a bus tour. They chartered this bus and they drove all over the country talking to different people about the president and why they support him. And did anyone know about they had a bus tour as well? And it traveled across the country, culminating at D.C. Now here's my friends. We actually stayed at this Days Inn at the Connecticut Avenue. We have our banner. We're there to support our president. We're there to have fun in a way. Now one thing I did, I don't have a slide for this, but I like to be engaged with people and I like to have a purpose. I was selling Trump flags. And what I loved about selling Trump flags, I could wave the flag around and say, do you have your Trump flag? And people would thank me for being there. In fact, this one Iranian lady came by and she talked about how she escaped from Iran and the persecution there. And she did a video of us and a prayer for us, thanking us for being there. And the amount of love that people had for each other and for our president is pretty overwhelming. Here's what the event looked like. This is the main stage. And one thing I noticed is that there were an awful lot of women speakers. I guess that kind of makes sense. And all these great speakers that came to speak about the president and why they really love his 4 years of administration. And there were a huge amount of people. In fact, there were like 3 million key cards recorded. And a lot of pictures aren't really easy to find, but I found this group called Getty Images that had a lot of images. I was actually standing by the George Washington Monument. I couldn't even get close. I couldn't even see the stage. I could just hear these speakers booming in echoes across. And there's a few people there, because I think people from all over the country came to this event to show support for the president. And you can see a lot of people, that's a huge amount of people, heading down towards the Capitol after the event was closed. It's just amazing how many people were there. I don't think D.C. has ever seen so many people come showing so much pride and support for their president. Imagine, this is just packed wall to wall. This is actually, I think, taken from the speaker stage. Now this organization, NTV, it's a Chinese organization, which I think I mentioned before. They're the second largest supporter of President Trump because they escaped from communism. They don't want the CCP here, and they see him as a defense against communism. And they were there, and I always thank them for coming. You can see it in their eyes how much they're concerned about things. And then the president speaks. And really, this is his last opportunity to give a defense for what he felt happened during the election. And he was asking Mike Pence to send it back to the states. And it's his right to do that. But it was very peaceful. And here's what he said. He said, we're going to walk down, and I will be with you. We're going to walk down to the Capitol and cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women, and not be cheering so much for some of them. Because you will never take back your country with weakness, you have to show strength and be strong. We have come to demand Congress do the right thing and only count the electors that have been lawfully slated. I know that everyone soon will be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voice heard. Well, we know that isn't exactly what, actually pretty much that's what happened. You had this big massive crowd of people walking over there. But it turns out that we had some nefarious people in the Capitol. And somehow people broke in. And one thing, I have a friend of mine named Isaac, and because of circumstances, they ended up right in front of the Capitol. And Isaac wanted to go in. He heard this sound, says, "We're in." And he wanted to go in the Capitol. And Angel, having some more wisdom, said, "You really shouldn't do that." There was a UK student, I think I wrote it down, her name, I think her name was Darcy, and she walked into the Capitol. They said, "Well, the police just let us in." So apparently it seems like maybe there was a break-in, but a lot of people just walked in the building, thinking it was fun. She took pictures, she just had a great old time, and she posted all over social media her time in the Capitol. Of course, the FBI saw that, and she's now in charges for that. But I think it was a great event. It was probably the largest event the president ever had, and it was fun. And I know that the violence was bad and overshadowed the whole event, but some of us kind of feel that that was used as a lever to discredit the whole event, when it really was a wonderful event. And we got some challenges coming up, regardless of things. We have questions if this electoral system is of integrity. I hope that all the states involved will take steps to say our voting equipment does not plug into the internet. We allow observers to observe it. We follow the chain of custody of votes, and we need to prove to the American people that we're going to have an integrity in our voting system. That's something we need to work towards, because don't we all in a representative government want to be able to have integrity with our vote? Social media companies seem to act without impunity now and cancel out anyone they choose. That's of concern, regardless of the perspective. That needs to be solved, because we need to put our country and heal ourselves, and hopefully the Biden administration will help us succeed in doing that. Regardless of whether or not we think it was a fair election or not, he is now president, and we have to work with the administration we currently have. This is kind of a concern. The military is being vetted to make sure they're loyal right now. Isn't that kind of scary? Just a little bit? We need to get past that. And this is my last comment, is there seems to be fewer outfits for free speech with censorship. And there's two called Gab and Telegram. And one thing is, Americans, we really need to get back in control of our country. We need to unite back as a people. Now, I know there was another big war when Lincoln became president in 1961. If you were a Southerner, you were concerned. I would think that their crisis was greater than ours today. That led to a war of 6 million people. I pray that we as Americans pull together and we put our country back together. Because it says in the scripture, if my people are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray, I will come and I will heal our land. And that is something that we need as a nation right now. Mr. Toastmaster.